Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, The Secret Slob. We are working on all things daily habits, routines, and generally just making life a little bit easier for ourselves. So today I want to talk about something I never have before, but it's such a huge part of daily habits and routines, I can't believe it's never come up. And that is the to-do list. This topic was suggested by my YouTuber friend, Becky from A Place to Nest. Make sure you head over to her channel and check out how she does her to-do list. I'll link to it here below and up in the cards. I'm sure she's got some amazing ideas. She's a stay-at-home mom too, and she's also homeschooling, so you know she's probably really organized. So before we talk about to-do lists, let's talk about mental load, because it is a very real thing. Mental load is kind of that ongoing list and stacks of activities and tasks that you need to accomplish, that you need to remember all the time. If you're not able to get those things out of your mind and onto a piece of paper or into a digital calendar, sometimes it can make your brain feel super foggy and like you're completely overwhelmed. This tends to be my natural state, thinking I can remember everything. Truth is, I can't, and so I've developed a couple of really simple ways to get that stuff out of my brain, down onto paper, into a digital calendar, and to make my life so much easier. Some of these are going to work really well for you, but because you're a different person from me, some of them might work a little differently. But I'm sure you'll see a couple things in here that will work, and if not, you can tweak them, make them your own, and really customize this to-do list for your life. So first things first, there are going to be things in your life, tasks, that you have to complete every single day, day in, day out. They constantly repeat, and getting them out of your mind and onto a piece of paper or into a digital system is going to be step one in clearing some of that mental clutter. These are those mundane tasks that really don't need to take up space in your brain that you maybe need for other important things. So I like to use my weekly cleaning schedule for my daily tasks, mostly because a lot of them have to do with keeping up my house and keeping it clean. I like to fill this out at the beginning of the week, usually on a Monday, like today, and this is gonna have all those daily things like doing laundry, doing dishes, making the bed, getting dressed, washing the bathroom, all that stuff. If you guys have seen my routine videos, you'll know, like, I repeat the same thing day in, day out, year in, year out. So when I'm making my to-do list, I don't want to have to include all that stuff because it's really gonna clog it up with things that I'm just repeating every day anyways. I want to keep my to-do list as simple and clear as possible. So this is totally free on my website. Feel free to go grab one, or if you don't have a printer, just use a blank sheet of paper, or if you are kind of a digital person, there are all kinds of list and task apps you can use. There's a Fly Lady app, which does cost a little bit of money, but there's another one called Todoist. I'll link to it here below, and it just reminds you of those daily tasks every single day. So now we've got those out of the way. Let's talk about extra stuff. So the second part of mental load for me are recurring kind of weekly appointments. So these are things like my kids going to preschool or dance or gymnastics or some of my sporting things or my book club, which repeats every month. If I have to keep all of those appointments in my mind, again, it just fills it with clutter. It makes it so I don't have space to remember more important kind of one-off things. So I think the best place for these things is a calendar. So you might be a paper calendar kind of person. We use this big fridge calendar. I write everything in at the beginning of the month, and then my husband and I are on the same page about what's going on. And even my kids are starting to be able to read the calendar, so even they know kind of what's coming up. I fill it out at the beginning of the month, and then as things come up, I can just quickly jot them into the calendar. If you don't have to share your calendar with someone, or you're really into digital, keep it right there on your phone. Most of us carry our phones with us everywhere we go, so just when something comes up, maybe there's an appointment or a date with a friend, you can just quickly add it into your calendar. The best thing about the digital one is you can set a repeat on it, so if you have to do something every single week, you just say repeat until whatever day it ends, and then it'll always be there for you. One less thing to think about. All right, so the third part of the to-do list, and this is gonna be your daily things where you wake up and think, oh, I've gotta remember to do this today and that today, and I've gotta take this to the dry cleaner, and I can't forget to pick up my dog from the groomer, those kinds of things. So these are things that maybe are more one-off. So for this, I like to straight up use a blank piece of paper and a big marker. And I write my list really big. I put it right on the kitchen counter, and then I can refer to it all day long. I say kitchen counter because I'm home most of the day, so that's what works best for me. But again, if you're out and about, maybe using your phone would be better. You can just use the Notes app or a list app, and then you can really keep track of where you're at. If you still feel like you're forgetting things, or you just have way too much going on in your brain, that mental load is making you crazy, try this super simple hack. It's called a brain dump. And besides the name being really hilarious, it works extremely well for clearing some of that mental clutter. All you need is a piece of paper and a pen. Set aside 5 minutes. I like to do it in the evening, kind of when everything's built up. And I just write down everything I'm thinking about, from things I need to remember, things I want to do, projects I want to attack. I write and write and write. It doesn't have to be pretty. You're not keeping it. This isn't a diary. It's just getting that stuff. It's kind of like mental puke onto a page, getting it all out onto a piece of paper. Then you can have a look and pick out the things you need to put into your weekly calendar, maybe something that needs to be added to your daily routine, or maybe something that needs to go on the to-do list. I also like to do kind of a rolling over version of this to-do list. So at the end of the day, anything that didn't get done on my list, I will roll over to the next day. So I'm kind of like getting rid of this, starting a fresh page, writing out what didn't get done, and then, you know, using my brain dump and things that I've got on that page to add to the list. I try not to have the list be more than 10 things long, but I do add as much detail as possible because I really don't want to forget. And with 3 little kids, I tend to forget everything. I wanted to quickly mention one other system that I think really helps me stay organized, and that is my packet of lists. I don't even have a name for it. They're mostly packing lists. What they are lists of things I need for different events. So if we are packing to go away, I have a packing list, and instead of having to write it out every time, I just use the same one, and then I can quickly add to it. I also have a camping list for preparing to go camping, because again, if I had to write it out every time we went camping, I would surely forget something. So keeping a master list and then just adding the little extras that I need for that specific trip makes a huge difference for me. I encourage you to not make one now, but as you go, maybe next time you go on a trip, or next time you go camping, or next time you get ready for Christmas, make your list and then file it afterwards and keep it for next year. It'll probably come in really handy. All of these tips can be translated right over into the digital world. You know, you can share calendars with different people, with your family, with your spouse. You can share to-do lists. There's all kinds of amazing technologies to help you with mental clutter. My best advice, though, is to pick 1 or 2 that really work for you and stick to those. If you start having too many systems going on, well, then it's just like sticky notes all over your house, and that sometimes doesn't help either. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have another really amazing way to keep track of your to-do list, please share it in the comments below. I know everybody always finds helpful tips down there, and I love that our community is able to encourage and support one another, even just in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, Becky, for suggesting this idea. It really is important, and it can make such a big difference. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.